Hey guys, and welcome back to StarMade. This is Serge with another StarMade update. Sorry I haven't made a video in a little while, but I'm making it up to you guys by digging something out of the vault. Today we're going to look at a ship I worked on ages ago. A ship that I like to call the Yennefer, but actually goes by the name the Tauros. I built this well before my days on playing on a server, and I just want to kind of show it off. This might take two parts as it's quite a big interior. But this thing is quite cool. This is the Tauros class carrier. We'll have a good look at this thing in just a moment. Just a quick update, guys. I just want to kind of ask you guys what kind of content you want to see from me as far as StarMade goes, because right now I'm getting a little bit in a bit of a rut as far as trying to determine what kind of content to do. Whether I do more Atlas stuff, whether I do more ship showcases. Do you want me guys to actually just go and find ships to review off of the StarMade dock, or should I wait for you guys to suggest ships to me? It's up to you guys what you want. Leave that in the comments below, but without further ado, let's go and have a look at this thing. So this is a Tauros. It's quite a large-ish ship. It's quite long, but a lot of that length is to do with its massive antenna up the front here. It's very symmetrical, except for some of the colors on either side. I played with a few names for this ship. One of the names I wanted to call this was the Hive, and you guys will work that out in a minute. And I kind of kept the decal on the side here of the little bumblebee, as you can kind of see it there with the body and the wings. But you'll see the logo on this, the Tauros logo. Which is there, and there's another one up on its backside up here, and it's got a little word on there which hopefully you guys can read it, as it says Yennefer. I don't know why I called it Yennefer. I just kind of like the name, and no, I know I haven't played Witcher all the way through yet either, so maybe that's got something to do with it. Either way, I just like to call it that. So as far as it goes, it's not a very powerful ship at all. I don't think this thing has nearly 2 million shields. It's more of a role-play ship than anything else, and the interior is quite detailed. There's a lot of role-play in this ship and a lot of cool stuff. So let's just have a quick sweep of the outside here. So you got some turrets. The turrets on this thing are quite weak, not powerful at all. I've been thinking about giving this thing a... Ooh, I'm getting a bit of jitter here. Why am I getting jitter? So yeah, I'm thinking about giving this kind of a 30 frames, okay. Thinking about giving it a bit of a facelift, maybe make it an Atlas style ship, maybe tear out some of that interior and fill it with systems. Because I really like this ship, but most of it is heavy armor, and it's just not very combat ready, but it has a lot of cool features about it. So as you can see, you got these big antennas on the front here, and the most prominent thing about the front of the ship is this here. This is the hangar bay. Now you'll notice I can't just press that button because that is a docked entity, so I'm gonna have to open that up from the inside. I don't think I have a inner ship remote. No, that was well before I learned how to do a lot of cool logic stuff. So I made this ship quite a while ago, probably about 1.5 years ago. So there's been a few updates since that I've kind of gone back and added a few things too. For instance, the slabs weren't a thing when I first got close to finishing this. It's missing some blocks. It's not meant to be missing those blocks. That's weird. Anyway, so as you can imagine, obviously those doors kind of like fold into the side here. And they're more blast doors than anything else, kind of add a bit of protection, a little bit of role play. So the meta behind this ship was it's supposed to be some sort of like cargo ship, industrial cargo size, like for massive travel, that has been essentially commandeered and modified by a military outfit to kind of suit it to be a little bit more combat orientated. At least that's the meta for it anyway. So this is why you see a bunch of like additional turrets on the other carrots. On the carriage here, you got these turrets that kind of face inwards. They're beam turrets, quite weak as you can see because they're quite small. It doesn't actually have any AMS on this thing because I didn't even think of that when I was building this. I built this almost entirely for roleplay. So, fun fact, actually, this is one of the ships I actually used in a campaign I did for StarMade. Not for StarMade, for Dungeons & Dragons Pathfinder. As it ended up being quite a popular layout, and it suited our campaign's needs quite well. So you can see these like fuel tanks, which are completely empty, so that's a huge waste of space in here. Obviously, I could fill them with, and my thoughts were filling them with, what's the word? Auxiliary power, because auxiliary power is obviously very volatile. If you hit it, it does explode, and do kind of like a chain reaction along itself and its other things around it. So I was thinking about filling those fuel tanks with auxiliary power just for fun. And I got some more fuel tanks back up here. I got some main weapons in under here. This thing is pretty hefty on the lag because there's a lot of entities. Not a lot of entities docked to it, but a lot of entities overall. So let's just run through the weapon system on this thing before we go have a look at the interior. I might make these episodes 15 minutes apiece and split this into 2 parts, as there's a lot to cover. As you can see, I didn't quite understand weapon systems back then, so my opinion was, let's just have lots and lots and lots and lots of missiles. It looks like that one never got a color crystal. You got some back-facing missiles, which actually are supposed to be a lock-on rather than a swarmer. I've got some big missiles that fire from the front there. They're your big hitters, they're your nukes. And you've got some more swarmers on the side there, I guess. You've got a cloaker, which obviously doesn't do anything. Well, it does. I mean, it just doesn't really help much. And has a radar jammer that is not sufficient. It is not self-sufficient. It's got an EMP effect, which is only 3%, and has an ion effect, which is only 10%. This ship is weak. It's got a jump drive, which is very slow. And a scanner, of course. And that, I think, does it. Oh, it does have a cannon computer, I guess, to actually, that I don't think actually work. So that one, yeah, I don't know where that is. It's firing from inside there somewhere. And that's kind of like I guess a spray there. Yeah, this is pretty bad, guys. I'll admit, I'll probably shell this thing out and give it to the good guys over there at Atlas Science and Development, Tyzeek and JRL, and let them have a play with inside of the shell. So, yeah, let's have a quick look on the, there's not much else to see on the outside. You guys get a bit of an idea. There's big hangar doors on the back because you'll see in a moment that the inside of this is mostly a big hangar. You kind of got the suspended bridge over here, even though that's not actually the bridge. The bridge is actually in here, socketed in there. It's a very industrial feel, I believe. A lot of wasted space in there, though, and you guys will see that shortly. On the back here, you can see I've got some escape pods, although they're not entirely obvious until you actually see them in action. And as you'll also see, that I do not have them on shootout rails, which is obviously something I would have to do if I decided to, I don't know, revisit the ship at some stage. So I'm actually more likely to ever revisit this ship than any of my other ones in the vault, because I have a soft spot in my heart for this, specifically because of the effort it took me to make. I would probably replace those side-facing turrets there and on the downside. No, wait, they're only on the top. Only on the top. With some AMS. Probably take out a lot of the missile systems and replace them with shields, since that's just a lot of missiles on a boat that dude does not need missiles. So let's go have a look at the interior while we still got a few minutes on the clock. At least let's get a start look at this interior. So if you were to come in the back here, let's actually come in through the back. Ultimately, you're flying around your little fighter and you want to come back to the mothership. You come back in through here. So as you can see, the inside is a massive hangar, and this is why there's so much, I guess, jittery and lag on this the ship. I don't know whether it is lag. Maybe I'm just running something in the background. Yeah, I do have quite a few things open, and maybe it's just me. So I apologize for that, guys. Give us a second. Look at this lovely blank screen while I go ahead and just close a bunch of windows. Hopefully that'll fix things up for us. So it's a little bit better. So as far as it goes, guys, this is an interior. This isn't the entire interior, and this is why this thing is just so bloody It's just so weak. I mean, if you can see down in the corner, let me get it on something dark. This thing only has let me get a little bit closer to the mic so you guys can hear me a little bit better. So this thing only has 3 million power a second. It only has a 0.4 to its thrust. 2.9 million shields, sorry, so just shy of 3 million shields, but only a 79 per second. This thing was, I guess, designed to be sort of like a mobile base, but it just does not have the defense to do that. Besides, maybe all of the excessive amounts of hardened hull, like you can see, this entire thing is hardened hull. But the idea was it was meant to like be brought in so that you can carry a bunch of smaller ships with you. Like if we ever did say like a race day, this would be the Atlas ship's carrier ship to bring in all of our little racing vehicles. So as you can see, I got some ships docked in here already, some suspended from the ceiling, some minor drones, and we got a little fighter here, a little bomber. We got a salvager docked inside of here as well. We got a couple of fighters, Eisen-size fighters in here with some cool little jetpacks you actually can dock onto the back of them, which increase the thrust quite dramatically, but are actually really bad because they're made out of hardened hull. This is well and truly, guys, before I understood the the real purpose of hull. I just thought it looked cool to use different colors and types. Like you can see, there's a lot of rails in here. There is a way to, let me see if it actually wants to work. Yeah, there you go. So it actually loads up the... Oh no, actually I think this isn't gonna work. No, it's gonna get stuck there. So the logic in this isn't good. I'd probably tear all that out anyway. It's supposed to load it up in there and push it forward, but you'll notice, no, just get stuck on a loop. So what you can do is just activate it again. That should send it back, yeah. So that's effectively what you're supposed to see when you dock your ship in here. If you want to get in it, you just press a button, pushes it to the center, and allows you to fly out. Obviously, that's against server rules on our server because there's multiple things attached to the singular rail, which obviously we would have to remove. So yeah, you got some inside turrets here, which I don't like anymore, but I really liked back then because they're kind of like internal. They'd be really good for a base. If this was a station, I'd really like it, but it's not. It's not a station, it's a ship. So the interior turrets aren't so bad, but I put them in there for one really important reason, and that is because when you open this door here, which you'll see, that's a lot of exposed, easy for people just to quickly slot in here and fly in real easy. So that's the back hangar opening up. Yeah, I just want to take a little moment to quickly appreciate some of the stuff on the outside while we're about to get finished here. So I really like this engine design, personally. I find that really cool. I think it's very pretty, and I'm going to try and replicate that in one of my future builds. I don't like this. That's meant to be like a missile salvo. Definitely be tearing that out and doing something else with that. Definitely like those little turrets, beam turrets, but they're obviously very useless. And yeah, as you can see, there's a lot of interior that isn't viewable from this inside. Down here a bit further, you can see that I've got this sort of half is set as sort of like a cargo room. But also, this is before I sort of understood the value of cargo. So as you can see, it's got piss-all room for cargo. So I would probably repurpose this as a cargo hauler. And either if I'm going to keep all this interior, I'd probably just fill this back area with cargo. And all along the sides with like cargo or something, I don't know. Or maybe I'll just fill this entire inside here with the cargo. As you can kind of see, a lot of empty space in this ship. Let's not look at the interior, we'll save that for the next episode. But let's just quickly fly through it here. There's quite a few, yeah, like this. There's a lot of empty space in this ship. So much empty space. And that's not good because that's a lot of space that could be filled with shields or recharge or better power systems. Because I had no idea how power works, so I just built it in sticks. But yeah, so see, like this, a big empty spot here, right there. Another empty spot right there. And just as like useless amounts of hull in there. So It would be a bit of a job to strip this out, and I probably would not put all that effort in. I'd probably just strip out all its systems, save a blueprint of an empty shell, and pop it into the game for Tyzeek and JRL to have a play with. But yeah, so that's where I'm going to end this episode. We're going to have a good walkthrough. Hopefully this doesn't devolve into 3 parts, because this isn't as exciting to look at as the Breaker, in my opinion. But it's got a lot more interior. No, actually, I don't think it has as much interior as the Breaker, but it's bloody close, and it's just not as big. So it gives you a bit of an idea of the effort I put into the roleplay of this ship. So anyway, guys, this has been Surge. If you liked the video, leave a like. If you disliked the video, leave a dislike, because, yeah, that's an option. And if you haven't just swung by and you haven't seen my content yet and you really, really like it after this video, please leave a subscribe. We're getting really close, guys, to 100 subscribers, and that's really cool. I'm really impressed with that. I didn't expect this to really go anywhere because it was Star Maiden, and obviously it's not a very popular game compared to other games like, say, World of Warcraft, or like a bunch of my work colleagues and mates want me to do is go play RuneScape with them. And yeah, that's not likely to happen anytime soon. So anyway, guys, this has been Surge, and this is part 1 of the Tauros battle station, let's call it. And this has been Surge, signing out.